Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Cruise, and it is my pleasure to say
Tom, the show's about to start. Come on!
Okay, on my way. Welcome to the Graham Norton Show.
And we'll be meeting two of the stars of the upcoming Top Gun Maverick, Miles Teller and Jennifer Connelly. But it's not Top Gun Maverick without Maverick himself. Please welcome to the stage the one and only Mr. Tom Cruise! Go! Woo! Hey! Hello. Oh, have a seat. I know. Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. That's real applause. That's the crew. Tom, would you mind just saying hello down that camera to our virtual audience at home?
Yes.
So people are watching.
Hello, virtual audience.
Yeah, that's for you.
Hello.
Yeah. You chose to wear pajamas, and now Tom Cruise can see you. Yeah. So how does this happen? Have you been in London for all of lockdown, Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're just looking for things to do.
No, this is amazing. This is my first time out of the film bubble. We were talking about it. I mean, this is just incredible.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. And obviously,
you.
you've been in your film bubble, but have you had any kind of those lockdown lulls where you learnt to bake banana bread or learnt a language or something?
No.
No.
No, from the moment actually...
No interest in self-improvement? No.
Really, from the moment we were in lockdown, I was working 7 days a week, almost around the clock, because we were dealing with, we were finishing Top Gun, the edit, we were prepping Mission, and they shut us down. I didn't have the banana bread moment yet. Did you?
Nor me, no.
I tried to do banana bread.
How'd it go?
3 times, burnt every time.
Really?
Yeah, beginning of
give it up.
lockdown.
Give it up.
It's done. I'm not going back to the banana.
Now, I think, in case this gets awkward later, I think I should bring this up now.
Yes.
That, John Bishop, you do have a connection to Tom Cruise.
Yes, you do? Yes, yeah, we do have a connection because we were both... I was on Top Gear shortly after Tom was on Top Gear.
This is the star in a reasonably priced car.
The star in the reasonably priced car.
And you did very well, Tom.
I did all right.
Yeah, you're top of the leaderboard. How did you do, John?
Well,
Here's the leaderboard. John Bishop, beat you. 2 seconds.
What happened?
Well done.
Yeah, I changed
Well done.
And through gritted teeth.
Yeah, you can see that. Well done.
I left a bubble for this.
For this to get abused?
Because what happened? There was me, there was Tom Cruise, there was Cameron Diaz, and then Rupert Grint was 4th, wasn't he?
Rupert Grint.
Yes. So a wizard. I even beat a wizard.
You beat a wizard. Not only that, you didn't just beat us, you crushed us. That's 142.8. That's a good full second and a half almost.
I know, and the thing is, like, you can drive cars and you're interested. I've got zero interest in cars. I literally...
You know what? You chose the wrong profession. Sorry.
And tell me about it. I came away from that thing and I should be an F1 because all it was to me, though, was somebody give me a car and said, it doesn't matter if you crash it. I thought, this is great. This is like being 17 again on my dad's insurance.
Very good.
I don't know, man.
But only for a moment.
You
crushed
just go round a track. Is that right?
Don't belittle it. Don't make it sound stupid and pointless.
Yes, please. This is very serious. It's actually not just going like there's turns. Like you got to make right turns and left turns.
Oh, it sounds really hard.
Yeah. Tom Cruise, you're here tonight to tell us about Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
And this is exciting because it's over 30 years. It's a long time.
35 years.
35 years. It's a long time coming.
Years.
How did it happen now? When did the stars align?
For years, the studios wanted me to do it, and audiences have wanted me to do it. I've gone around the world, and there was just a moment where, Jerry Bruckheimer wanted to do it, and he came to me, we were talking about it, and we just came up with some good ideas, and it was just that moment. I thought, if I'm going to ever do this, now's the time.
And I've been lucky enough to see it. Thank you very much for organising that. And it is, we saw it on the IMAX. It is incredible. It's like you're in the planes. It's amazing. But equally, it's all new and, all bells and whistles. But there are lots of references to the old, like, the die-hard fans will love it.
Little seeds there, little things. New, but yeah, some Easter eggs.
And you've brought us some footage because this is, you know, there's no green... I'm right, there's no green screen, is there, in this thing?
No, you know what, it was, I mean, the first time that I did it, one of the reasons, you know, I've loved aviation my whole life. And I was like, I want to make this, but I want to be able to film in the F-14. So with this one, technology, we can really do a lot of flying now in it. And so I had to create a whole training program for the pilots. We had to develop the cameras to be able to fly in the F-18s. I went and talked to the Defense Department and the head of the Navy, and they gave us permission to fly in the aircraft. It's very, very interesting because I not only had to kind of create a program for the actors to understand and become pilots, but also had to teach them about editing and lighting, and the fighter pilots to teach them about filming. It was just like creating these cameras, you know, and really put the audience in a position where they feel like they're the fighter pilots, and, you know.
And you really do. And you talk about that stuff, all that stuff you're doing at speed. This is some footage you brought of kind of behind...
Because I fly airplanes and helicopters and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. These are the F-18s, I think.
This is F-18s, let's see.
We are cleared into the area. Verify cameras are on. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here comes some G's.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. I love that guy on his phone just going, what?
I definitely won't be flying planes better than that.
We saw Miles Teller there, who we were talking to him and Jennifer Connelly about Top Gun Maverick later in the show. And to go back to the first Top Gun, I mean, was that very unusual, that idea of an actor actually flying the plane themselves? And that footage had to be in the film, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was like, I want it to be in the movie. You know, luckily, the studio, they wanted me to do it so badly that I was allowed to do that. And Simpson Bruckheimer were great. You know, I learned a lot from them and Tony.
Was that the first time you sort of done that on camera?
Yeah, when I did the F-14, I didn't want the actors to go through what I went through because I trained with the Blue Angels. I flew with the Blue Angels, and you had to do training to learn how to eject out of the aircraft. But I didn't know about G's. You know, I read about it. There wasn't YouTube back then, you know, and so they took us up and we started filming, and we were hitting some heavy G's. And let me tell you, it was.
G's, that's the kind of the pressure of as you were going
G's,
very
like
high.
right now, you know, we're 1 G. It's our body weight. 2 G's is twice our body weight. And in Top Gun, I was pulling 9.5 G's at one point, so it's 9.5 times my own body weight when we were doing Top Gun, and it was not comfortable.
But that 9.5 G's, and he's piloting it, so he's thinking about stuff. Because I did one thing once where I went to the European Space Station to do a feature for a television show, and they put me in the spinner.
Yes.
And I got up to 5,
yes.
And I was literally crying for me mum. I was like, this is the worst thing, because your body just collapses in, doesn't it?
You have to build up to it.
Wow.
And some people sometimes can't ever build up to it. I mean, most of the airplanes, and I fly aerobatic helicopters and airplanes and World War II plane, and you really have to take time to build up to those G's. Getting in there, it's quite intense.
Because, Felicity, oddly, you did the aeronauts, which would seem like such a lovely thing, floaty, floaty, floaty.
Not so
What
many
was that
Gs.
like? What was
Yeah,
that?
but you did go properly high, didn't you?
Did you go?
Yeah, they got really high up. There we are. Actually, that was a real sequence that we did. It's actually a gas air balloon, which is powered by sand, and that was for real. Look, I'm trying to compete with Tom now.
Yeah,
that's terrific.
I can now teach people how to hot air balloon.
Yeah, exactly. That was really high.
I know the guys that
really
shot
scary.
I know the guys that shot the aerial for you on that. They're very good.
Yeah, well, the helicopter was going round and round and kind of getting closer and closer, and we were going a little bit nerve-wracking.
But also, but how high? I mean, was the air thin? How high you were? How high were you?
No, all of the thin air stuff we just did with acting. That was...
Yeah, Tom, they did acting.
What? What's that? Gotta try that sometime.
Yeah, well, you know, actually, it's
How was
it's
that?
not the best route. It's
Did you enjoy
easier.
that?
Well, actually, we had to do this whole sequence where we were really high up and we had. You know, as you get higher, obviously it gets colder, and then we were covered in icicles in our hair.
Yes.
And I just thought, I blame Tom Cruise for this. I wouldn't be doing this like him. We were actually...
Don't do that.
I know, we were shooting it when you were doing Mission Impossible.
And the thing that interests me about your job is you're not just kind of the star of the film, you're not just the actor. When you're on set, you know, you set the tone of, you know, the approach to the work, the dedication, all of that stuff. You do all of that. Did you learn how to be that sort of set leader, cast leader from some of the greats that you worked with, like Newman or...
You know, I
people?
was always kind of just had a great work ethic. I think it's something that in my life from, you know, I've had jobs since I was a little kid, shoveling snow and newspapers, selling cards door to door, you know, because we had to make money. And I liked it. I liked having my own money and working. And so I always worked very hard. But definitely I was fortunate to be able to work with, you know, great artists that were very generous with me, from film directors to actors, you know, Duvall, Hackman, Newman. But just to be able to watch them work on set, I would just, every day I was there. So I was very fortunate.
I heard you tell a story about Paul Newman teaching you something very specific on The Color Money.
I remember we were doing Color Money, and I went actually from Top Gun to Color Money. And we were shooting Color Money in Chicago. But I don't know if you've been to... Do you ever do a show in Chicago?
A lot.
Okay.
In another life, believe it or not, I used to work for a pharmaceutical company, and the American Society of Immunology... The American Society of Immunology used to have their annual meeting in Chicago, and our company office used to be in Chicago, so I've been to Chicago about 15 times.
Well, you know how cold it is in Chicago.
A pharmaceutical meeting is not like making the colour. I am not going to talk you on
I understand.
that, but it's a cold, cold system.
I understand. But a young actor, though, let me, you know, I was there, and I tried my wardrobe on in the summer. And I was like, I'm going to have a leather jacket and T-shirt, you know. And I'm going to have my hair blown back. It's guaranteed up to 90 miles an hour. And there I am in January, and I'm shooting this scene. And I remember in the script, it was like outside. I didn't think about it. Wardrobe was like, yeah, it looks great. And I am doing this scene, and I'm telling you, it's so cold, I can't even speak. And I'm in between takes. And he's in a car, and I'm running to this area. They're trying to thaw. And Newman's like, where's the kid? You know, where's the kid? It's like, I'm just trying to, he's like, where's the kid? So I have this scene where he's in the car and I'm next to him. And I look in, I'm like, what? He had the warm coat. He had the heater in there, but it was an electric heater, okay? And he just loved the fact that he's driving this car and he's got the electric heater, the warm coat, and I'm in the T-shirt. And he looked at me, he's like, T-shirt. He said, you tried your wardrobe on in the summer, didn't you? And I was like, yes, sir, I did. He's like, watch and learn, kid. Watch and learn. I never forgot it. I literally never forgot. I was like, now I'm like, okay, where am I doing? It's like the time when you choose food to eat in a scene. And I was working with Coppola, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat chocolate cake in this scene. You know, I can get away. We had bets going on with the other actors, and I thought, you know, because I have to do it in the scene. It's part of the character. I'm going to eat chocolate cake. We ended up shooting the scene for 3 days, and we did like 100 takes of me eating chocolate cake, and I had to keep eating it. I was like, it was like the first couple of takes, I was like, oh, this is so good. You know, I have to eat it. They're bringing the cake. I was so moist. It's the worst, isn't it? And then it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, did we get it? You know? Did we get this take? And Francis kept saying, let's do it again. 3 days, I was like 100. I was in sugar shock. I was vomiting. So, chocolate cake and Paul Newman, the weather.
Lessons learned. Lessons learned.
Lessons learned.
And I mean, and Tom, seriously, you know, you have played a big part in all of this, because Mission Impossible, that was the first production of that size to get back on its feet. How long were you shut down for?
I don't know. I mean, we were shut down for a few months, but actually, the moment it happened, I was working around the clock because we were finishing post on Top Gun. So we had editing, we had to figure out musicians, and at that time, people were like, "That's never going to happen. You're not
Yeah.
going to finish it." So yeah, we just, you know, it was great. We worked with a lot of people to just get people back to work, and worked with governments and writing the laws and doctors, and you know, we were figuring it out. It was when everything, you know,
Yeah.
how are we going to do this? How are we going to keep people safe and kind of work with them to get through it? You know, and I felt obviously very responsible in ensuring everyone's safety throughout, and you know, all of us were still learning. You know, what is this? How can we do this? How are we going to progress forward? As you guys did. I mean, look, you came back and you were nonstop. I really admire what you've done and appreciate it.
Well, it's just you kind of bounce, you know, we've all done it. You know, that
Yeah.
thing where kind of, oh, you can have a little bit of audience. Oh, now there's no audience. You know, but
I know.
hopefully we're
but
getting back there. We're getting back there.
Absolutely.
And you have to believe, you know, like, you know, we're going on tour, other people are coming on the show saying you're going on tour. You have to book the date. You have to aim for something.
Yes. It's going to be the Roaring 20s. You know that when this is over.
Oh.
It is going to be the Roaring 20s.
I'm exhausted already.
I know. we're going to be like, there's going to be this, it's just going to be so energized. I mean, as I said, this is the first time I've been outside of my film bubble, guys, and I was just so excited. You know, I went by, I was like, hey, how are you, John? How are you? Like, oh, hey, Graham. You know, it's like, it does feel like this is humanity, and we're going to get there. We are absolutely going to get through this.
Well, just to tease people about one of the treats they can have, there's a stunt, and I'm sure there's lots of stunts in Mission Impossible 7, but there's a stunt you do, and I'm sure you can't tell us anything about it, but this is, so it involves this ramp. Now, this is in Norway, right?
This is in Norway.
Okay. Now, there's a man on the ramp, but can you tell us what you do on the ramp, or is that a secret?
Yeah, I ride a motorcycle off that ramp.
He's not lying.
Bloody
right.
hell.
So wait though,
Yeah.
wait. So you're looking at that. So you gave us this. This is a tiny little bit of footage just to give you an idea of where he rides the motorbike. Okay. So this is you and the director. I think you're on it. Okay, so he comes up
that's
that
the cue.
ramp, and that's where you go. That's where he drives it.
That makes Evil Knievel look like a bit of a wuss. That is...
Wow.
And in the thing,
That was-
so we see it, it is amazing. But what made me laugh when I was looking at this, I was thinking, people live here in the middle of nowhere in Norway. It was like, what is that noise? How many days were you there for?
In Norway for over a month, 5 weeks. They were amazing. Like every day they were there at the bottom. You know, when we were shooting, I did this particular one 8 times. I did it 6 in one day and 2 the other day. And we spent a good year prepping this thing and figuring. I've wanted to do it since I was a little kid.
I mean, you love doing this stuff.
Yeah, the first time I did it was pretty nerve-wracking, though. We didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, no matter how much you train or what you do, there's so many things that could have, you know, that were challenging. But it is exhilarating attempting to do it, and, you know, yeah, it was exhilarating.
Because don't directors have to remind you, stop smiling when you're doing this
That's
stuff?
cute. Yeah, Chris McCoy, he's like, where I was flying the helicopter in Fallout, and we were doing aerobatics, and he was like, Tom, I was like, what? He used it right in the middle. He says, you're smiling. You're smiling. Stop smiling in the take. It's like, oh yeah, thank you.
You're supposed to be saving
Yeah,
the
it's
world.
supposed to be, yes, exactly.
It looked like Shailene maybe had a more fun time, because you're in scenes like this, and here's Shailene Woodley having a very different time.
Were you there on set when they were shooting that, so you got to be on the boat while they were shooting?
Yeah, totally. We were on the boat the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So she was having a good
we
time.
were just like
You weren't there.
peeking
Were you
out.
really there?
No, absolutely not. No, the furthest we got to East London, I think, was the furthest that we got to. Yeah,
And it's lovely on a nice day. Lovely.
I used to live there. Yeah.
I got to help you, producer. Like, look at the locations. You gotta-
I know. I should be making
start producing and
decisions
let me-
based on the glamour of the location, not literally half an hour down the road.
You know,
Yeah, live and learn.
I learned about the T-shirt and leather jacket in the winter. I'm going to tell you about locations, okay?
Yeah, Venice. Right, our final virtual guests tonight are here. They're Tom's co-stars in Top Gun Maverick. It is the star of Whiplash, Miles Teller, and Oscar winner Jennifer Connelly.
Come on, guys.
Hey, Jen, Miles.
Guys,
Hey, Tom.
I miss you guys.
We miss you.
Love you,
Wish
man.
you were there.
I know, my gosh, I wish you guys were here.
Where are you? Jennifer Connelly, where are you?
I'm at home in Brooklyn, New York.
And Miles?
Nice house.
It does look nice.
I know,
Thanks.
it's lovely.
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm also at home.
Okay. Also a lovely house. Beautiful.
Nice.
Look at the lighting.
COVID's over. I got to come over to both y'all's houses, have some dinner.
You're welcome.
Come
Anytime.
over, Tom.
Thank you.
So tell me this. So Jennifer Connelly, acting with Tom Cruise, a dream or was there kind of added pressure? How was it?
Both, actually. I mean, it was extraordinary. It was such a privilege. I had such a great time. I did things that I've never done before.
And who do you play in the movie, Jennifer?
I play Penny Benjamin. And an old friend of Maverick's, there she is.
Wow.
On her very cool car.
Wow.
And Miles, tell us, the character you play is kind of the big connection to the first movie.
Yeah, so I play Goose's kid, and
Are we allowed to say that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
not.
we are.
Yeah, you are.
I don't
yeah.
know. Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
It's out now.
Yeah, it's out now.
yeah. So that's a joke, right? That's out.
It's like, oh.
That's out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I play his kid, and obviously there's some history there with Maverick. So I think it's really wonderful, you know. And Tom, I had such a pleasure working with him and everybody in the cast, and the film's phenomenal.
Not to depress anyone, but Miles wasn't born when the first Top Gun came out. So had you seen the first Top Gun?
Yeah, absolutely. And I told Tom he's been waiting my entire life to work with me, literally.
Listen, we've got a clip. This is a taste of what to look forward to in a Top Gun Maverick. Whoa!
You have the photo of her flying in the P-51 with me.
Yes.
She showed.
That was
showed up.
unbelievable. You know, what I was afraid to tell Tom at the time was I had just recently come out of, sort of like decided to think myself out of a really crippling fear of flying that I suffered from for years. And so originally when I signed on to do the movie, there was no flying for my character. My character was on land, she was on the water, she was never in the air. There was a scene at one point where it's like taxiing on a runway, maybe in a plane together. So Tom and I are shooting that scene. And the plane, the P-51, it's like tiny. You're like, the top of the cockpit is right here. My knees are up against his back. And he's like, wow, Janet, have you ever been in a plane like this before? I was like, no, I haven't, Tom. It's amazing. He's like, ever done any aerobatic flying before? I was like, starting to get nervous. No. Why? Will I be doing so? He's like, it's going to be very graceful, very elegant, just some very elegant rolls, you know. It's going to be nice and easy. So, yeah, that's how I found out that I was going to be up in the P-51 with Tom flying it.
And Miles, tell me this, when you signed up for this, did you know that there wouldn't be green screen? Did you know that this was all going to be proper G-force and real?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that was in the small print.
For hours,
I think that was in the
Miles.
small print, in the fine print somewhere. No, I mean, I did absolutely, but I absolutely underestimated the training that it would take to be able to withstand, the G forces that we're, pulling. People were throwing up, in the cockpit fairly often. Like it is no joke to get in those jets, and we're making Top Gun, so we're never going around sightseeing.
It's very intense. Like what Miles said, I told you. I said, and I shot the early test. I showed you the early test.
You might have whispered it to yourself.
How many times did I say it? I told you. I said, and I even shot first, and I showed you the footage.
Show me the email.
It's been great to talk to you. Tell me this. So we're going to have to wait to see Top Gun Maverick in cinemas. Have you guys seen it yet?
Yes.
Yes.
I saw it in a theater, and it was such a joy to be back in a movie theater. I was on a huge screen with an incredible projection, and I actually saw it with my husband and two of our kids, and literally both my son and my daughter were sitting on the edge of their seats the entire time. Agnes, my daughter, was like bouncing up and down the entire time. It's amazing.
And Miles, did you get the big screen experience?
I watched it on an iPhone. It was amazing.
You son of a
Like
bitch,
one of the
Miles.
new iPhones, like
You
the
son
really
of a
big
bitch, Miles.
iPhone.
Miles,
It was
I'm gonna
incredible.
crush you. Wait till I'm gonna crush you, okay?
You'll never find me, Tom.
Wait till I'm gonna
You'll
come.
never
I'm
find
gonna
me.
look. I'm gonna
You'll
have.
never
I'm
find
calling
me.
your wife, and she's gonna help me. Tell Kelly she's gonna help me, okay?
Oh no,
That's not true.
No.
Well, listen, we all look forward to seeing you all on the big screen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Miles Teller,
I miss
Jennifer
you
Connelly,
guys.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
you. See you soon.
Wish we could be there.
Great seeing you. Wow.